Hello and welcome to Look for Light, a podcast where we dive into the world of The Last of Us. I'm your host, Stuart Trainer, and I'm joined, as always, by someone who will forever join me on a frame-by-frame deep dive through trailers. It's Jess Sterling. Jess, how are you doing?
I'm really excited to be here. This podcast means we are only 1 week away from the season 2 premiere, which is just so exciting.
Yes, it's felt like the longest wait. I think like between the first season and then the announcement, obviously, of the second, that was like, oh, okay. Oh, are they going to start filming? Are they going to get things going? But we're finally here. Everything is being released. There are premieres, there are press releases, there's all sorts of interviews. Pedro and Bella are on the marketing trail with everything. It's soon we will get our hands on the first episode. And then we just have to wait week on week for the further 6 episodes of this season. I am so looking forward to it. Of course, if you're new here, hello, welcome. We're Look for Light. We're going to be covering The Last of Us Season 2. We've already covered Season 1 in its entirety. We went through episode by episode. We've already done a big deep dive into the video game as well. And today we're going to be going into a deep dive into all of the trailers and speculation around the second season. So if you're new here, please do subscribe. It helps us out massively. It also means that we arrive in your podcatcher each and every week. So check us out on any podcatcher of choice. We should be on all of them at Look for Light Pod. You can also find us on the socials at Look for Light Pod there as well. And of course, if you want to email in any feedback, lookforthelightpodcast@gmail.com. Now, ordinarily, we're going to give a bit of a warning about spoilers. This one is going to be spoiler filled. We're going to be speculating on what we expect to come up in the second season of the show. And I think a lot of it is going to be framed based on the second game. So be aware. We'll try and keep things not too heavy spoilers, but I don't think we're going to be able to avoid it because there's going to be a lot of speculation on scenes that might appear. And they might appear, they might not. So we don't know if that will happen, but we will be getting into it. So unless there's anything else, Jess, do you want to dive into it?
Let's do it.
Next week, April 13th, we get the second season finally coming out on HBO as per usual. We got Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann who are returning as showrunners, and also returning to the mix. We've got Peter Hoare, who directed episode 3, long time, returning back for what I suspect is going to be another side character episode. There's a lot of talk of Eugene getting a single episode, which certainly seems to be happening, and I think that would be like a perfect fit. Of which I'm hoping for, because apparently we might be getting a more embellished story for Eugene, which is quite intriguing.
Absolutely. I love what we do know about Eugene from the video game, mostly because he grew a shit ton of weed, and that was really funny.
I wonder if we're going to get into, like, I think the weed growing is going to be possibly, like, not the biggest storyline to get into. Like, it'll be an aspect of his character, certainly, like having to scurry away, hide it, maybe a bit of like hiding it from Maria. I can't imagine that she'd be too hot on it. Or maybe they are. I don't know. They're not, they're in Wyoming. I'm not sure what the laws are like in Wyoming as to the availability of weed, but
probably illegal, I would imagine, considering Wyoming is like a fairly rural place. I don't know, usually that's the kind of laws they're following over there. I mean, I don't even know if you could say it state by state anymore at this point, because everyone living everywhere seems to not necessarily have grown up there, so it's a little bit tough to say. But I would love to get some of that storyline, mostly because, again, I think it's really funny and like a real thing. Like, if I have to go through an apocalypse, I better be medicated, like heavily medicated. So just saying, Eugene, very important to the story. And obviously we'll talk about it, Stuart, but like the fact that he dies in a more natural death compared to pretty much everyone else in this world.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be quite an intriguing one. We've also got a handful of like new directors getting thrown into the mix. But I think a name that is probably going to pique your interest, Mark Mylod of
Yep.
Succession Note
Yep.
is
Yep.
coming to episode
Ooh,
2.
Mark Mylod.
Excitement.
Here's the thing. If you know me, you know I know almost nothing when it comes to like names of producers, directors, like it's not anything I've ever paid attention to, except when it comes to my one true love, Succession. Like every episode Mark Mylod is involved in, when you think of the best episodes of Succession, that guy did it. Mark Mylod
Mhm.
did it. I'm talking the finale or every single finale. You like a Succession finale? Mark Mylod is involved in it. So like he did the oneer in the episode that everyone knows I'm talking
The
about.
episode,
Season
yeah.
4, episode 3. He
We're
did the
spoiling Last of
runner
Us, not
in that.
Succession, but he did that one.
Yeah. So like every incredible episode of Succession, Mark Mylod is involved in, and I especially love the oneer, which is if you're unfamiliar, it's when you do one take. It is one flowing movement. The camera follows the characters, and it was like incredible. Oh my
Mhm.
god, I ate it up. So to have him joining The Last of Us, when I heard this, you best know that I screamed because I just anytime my Succession people find a new home, I just get giddy with excitement.
They're thriving at the moment. I mean, you've got Sarah Snook, who's obviously taken to the stage. You've got Jeremy
Kieran
Strong as well,
Culkin, yeah, Kieran Culkin
winning
winning awards
everything.
left and right,
Like,
having to have more babies because of it. Yeah.
yeah, it's to see them thrive is fantastic. But I think Mark Mylod is certainly one of the more interesting names to find because he's directing episode 2, which I think coloring a lot of people's expectations for the first couple of episodes. Because I mean, if I kind of get this up, so here we've got the episodes that are being released. We know that the first one is called Future Days and is directed by Craig Mason. I think
Mhm.
this is certainly going to be like the Jackson framing of everything. It's like, okay, here's what life is like now.
Yeah,
Mark
here's
Mylod taking,
where we left off. We're picking back up. We're
yeah,
reestablishing the scenes. Yeah, reestablishing where the characters left off. Yeah.
and then we've got Mark Mylod taking episode 2, which makes me think, and I will say this once and once only: this is your last stop for Last of Us spoilers because we're going to get into it. I think this is going to be Joel's death
I
episode.
think so too. I
It's
think they
gotta
have
be.
to have it done because when you look at the fact that there are only 7 episodes, that's
Hmm.
not a ton of runway, right? And like the what's going to propel Ellie forward is Joel's death. So we have to have that by the end of episode 2 because if you don't then we're going into episode 3 and Joel's still not around. Like if
Hmm.
anyone in the world is worried about seeing Petra Pascal on their screen, you don't need to. We know we're getting the flashbacks. We know we're at least getting one huge flashback. So I agree with you. Listen, if you get Mark Mylod, you put him on the death episodes, okay?
You do get
Saying.
it on the death episodes. And then we
Yeah.
got Peter Hall coming in with episode 3. Now, this is where I kind of think things are going to get interesting because obviously, with Eugene and his story that we know from the games, is that he was a Firefly with Tommy.
Right.
And I think this is going to be a natural flow through
Oh,
into more of an introduction of perhaps the Salt Lake
the
crew,
past
perhaps
and
that,
yeah.
the past, get that brewing. And I think we're also probably going to get maybe a bit of Isaac thrown in there as well. I have heard that
Interesting.
the Eugene episode is a Eugene episode, but again, like with the Bill and Frank, we
Right.
did get a good portion that was Joel and Ellie as well. So I think we might get
Well,
a good mix of both.
right. And I mean, obviously we have to point out, and we'll talk about this more in the casting, but like when you have Jeffrey Wright playing
Hmm.
Isaac, like you're gonna give him a lot to chew on. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna enhance that role in a way that like really gives him a lot to work with. But it's interesting. So are you saying, okay, so if you think Joel dies at the end of episode 2, like you think that's the very end of the episode is him dying? And then
Ooh,
or you I
perhaps.
just assumed maybe
Yeah.
not.
No, I think you're right. With we'll get into it with like what we've seen already and stuff, but what we have seen, I think, certainly leads me to believe that there is going to be a substantial action sequence that's
Mhm.
going on throughout episode 2, and so we're going to probably get into it in the end. Yeah.
So then episode 3, because obviously we have to look at a long time, like that was episode 3, right? For season,
Hmm.
wait, was it? Yeah, episode 3 for season
Yes.
1. So are we looking at episode 3 of this show to always be this kind of like sole character focused episode? And I wonder, obviously this is all speculation on our part, but it will be really interesting if we have Joel's death at the end of episode 2. If episode 3 were to be a character focused episode, I'm really interested in what the non-gamer reaction would be to that, because to me that's almost like you're cutting into the grieving of Joel, right?
Hmm.
Like you're cutting into Ellie's response and Dina's response and like all these other characters. Tommy, I suppose you could, if we're going in his flashback, maybe that's how we start the episode. But yeah, I think what's important, I mean, we saw it in season 2 of Severance. We saw it we're going way back in the show Lost. Like where you put these kind of self-contained episodes in your episode order really matters when it comes to momentum and kind of how people come away feeling about the show, because sometimes it just completely cuts off momentum or cuts off the pacing of the season. So I'm really interested if we're going to get a Eugene focused Isaac kind of stuff, where is that going to fit into this season?
Maybe I could be wrong on that then. Maybe it is mostly a Eugene one that is kind of peppered with I don't know, like obviously the link to Jackson with Tommy. Maybe that's how we kind of get it. Maybe through the grief, maybe going through pictures, maybe because there's a picture of Eugene and Tommy in the game together. Maybe
Right.
it's something that comes up that way, perhaps. Maybe that's how we kind of get the link going through. And maybe then the Salt Lake Crew stuff comes later, perhaps, because we do have this is the problem is we've only got 7 episodes this season, and so
Right.
there's a lot of, like, content to get through. I think the prevailing opinion is that episode 7, we're gonna end with, Abby confronting, Ellie. We get the first of them 2 coming together since the events, obviously, of Joel's death and having the whole gun pointed and "you wasted it" scene. So if we get to that point and kind of almost, like, work from side to side, I think that then Neil Druckmann is directing episode 6, has to
Mhm.
be the museum. Like, I can't think of an episode that wouldn't be more Druckmann, like, coded, right?
You're right. It
We
absolutely
like,
has to be.
we get the dinosaurs, we get the whole, like, giving of the tape, the shuttle kind of, like, imagination sequence, the thing about, um, the the scene where Ellie follows the trail of a firefly who came here and was dying out and was like writing on the walls and things. I'm not sure if we'll necessarily get that, but it's very much, I think, like that would be Neil's baby of an episode, if it to be anything,
Agree.
right? So
Yeah, I
if we,
totally agree with that. So if the museum episode, if the flashback episode is episode 6, and we know, okay, so if we're predicting episode 2, Joel dies. So 1 is establishing Jackson, reestablishing where we left our characters,
mhm,
depending on how things go, maybe introduction to Abby. I imagine you kind of have to set that up in episode 1. Then episode 2, end of episode 2 is where Joel dies. And then we say episode 7, we're ending with, the death of Jesse and Abby confronting Ellie. Episode 6 is the museum. That only leaves us 3, 4, 5 to kind of get the rest of the first part of game 2.
yeah. And we've got like so much to cover. I mean, in the game, obviously, it's 3 days in Seattle from Ellie's perspective, but we've got to establish the Seraphites. You've really got to establish the Salt Lake Crew and like kind of the pursuit of them. Thankfully, it'll be easier because there are fewer of them this time round. We don't have any Jordan, Leah, or is it Jonathan? I'm remembering the other name of.
I don't even know
But
who those
we're
people
down
are. So,
we're down 3 members of the Salt Lake Crew.
yeah.
We've just got Manny, Mel, Nora, Owen, and who else?
Well,
And
Abby.
Abby. Abby, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, and
So
that
it's a
tracks
much
because
condensed crew.
all of these people I know by name. You know what I mean? Like I don't know the
Hmm.
extras that I'm kind of like they're just kind of there. Like no offense to them, but like obviously Abby being like our main antagonist, Owen being a person that she's had a relationship with that also is a big antagonist. will probably be more important season 3 for all the stuff he has going on. Mel being, kind of at odds with Abby a little bit because of the whole Owen thing, and then Nora being the one who's going to, reveal to Ellie what Joel did, or be one of the people who says it. And then Manny is interesting because I remember really loving Manny in the game, and his relationship with Abby. So definitely
Mhm.
all the important Salt Lake crew are being represented here.
Yeah. So if we get, I'm guessing then, a good introductory episode to the Salt Lake Crew, I think perhaps an Isaac centric episode. I think that's a fair amount to split across 2 episodes. At least one
Mhm.
has to be like a full on, like, here's the history of Seattle. Or
Yeah.
maybe it's spread out over these two. But I think with them, there's enough room to play around with, I think, to kind of get that going. I think that fits the kind of rough structure. What is interesting though is that now this is only on a rumor on Reddit, but it seems to match up with a lot of stuff that's being said. Is that most of the episodes are about an hour in length.
I was gonna
So,
ask you if we knew a runtime, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little concerned because I was
mhm,
hoping that at the very least we might bookend this season with some longer episodes. Like,
yeah,
obviously in season 1 we have the first episode, which kind of was supposed to be 2 episodes that get a little squished together. But I don't know, seeing all of these be the longest one be an hour exactly, and one
mhm.
episode being 45 minutes, like, that's just there's so much to do. How are they gonna do it all?
Yeah, especially the longest one being the Druckmann episode at 60 minutes. Um, First episode being a 59 as well. And we've got confirmation that first episode like is accurate. So it's highly likely that the rest of these are. It doesn't seem like a lot, but then I have to remind myself the last episode of season 1 was very short. It was like a tight 45 itself, and a lot
Mhm.
happened in that one. So it is
Yeah.
possible,
We just
but
have to have
we are
faith.
gonna have some we are gonna have some sacrifices of, like, certain storylines.
And no,
But
I
I
think we
think we're
all
almost certainly
expected
not
that,
getting the
right?
TV station stuff. Yeah, we have to expect it.
You have to expect cuts to be made. Again, it is an adaptation. And I do think there's, because we have to view it as we're telling 2 stories almost between Ellie and Abby, I could see them making some cuts, um, or also kind of in terms of these newer characters, right? All of the Salt Lake crew, kind of those folks, um, doing a lot more. I mean, think about the game and how many combats you have, right? Like, you could
Mhm.
take some of those out and you'd still have all of the great narrative stuff, all the great story building and world building and all of that. So I'm confident they can do it. It's just a little scary when you see only 7 episodes compared to how many we got in season 1, and when you see none of them are longer than an hour. It's kind of like, "Oh my gosh, they have so much to do. How are they gonna do it all?"
Yeah. I think for me, there are certain things that I definitely want to be in there. Hillcrest is one of them, and I don't need it to be a full episode. I don't need it to be a one-shot masterpiece. It just has to be an intense scene where Ellie is going through the suburbs of Seattle and is trying to, like, hunt people down. And I want Ellie to be a hunter in that kind of, like, scene, because there's something so
Yeah.
visceral about the whole Hillcrest playthrough that becomes so scary. And it's the way in which we get reunited with Jesse. And I don't think that that is going to hit as much if Jesse just turns up somewhere. Unless you have that sense of urgency and the sense of, like, rescue, and you don't know who it is, you turn around and it's Jesse. I want that so much. So if we don't get that, I might be a bit disappointed. I could
Yeah.
forgo the dogs. We don't need to go there with the dogs.
Please forgo
Production,
the
cut that out.
dogs is
Exactly.
actually my preference. It was so hard for me to play that through in the game. I imagine it will be fairly difficult for me to watch it on TV. So I
Mhm.
wouldn't be mad if they got rid of the dog. If you want to keep Alice and just have it be a companion dog, or just a dog that can sniff infected,
Ha Have her run away or something. I don't know.
I'm
Just
fine.
don't keep her out of
But just
danger.
please, yeah. Enough animals have to die, like Shimmer. Can we stop, please?
Okay. I don't obviously want to see it, but that scene has to happen.
Oh,
Like,
of course it has to happen. The dogs don't have to happen is the
yeah.
thing. Things we can cut out. We can't cut out the horse's death because it matters and it's big and it's like not fun. It's like it's
Mhm.
huge. It's an action thing.
I also
We don't have to kill the dogs.
Yeah, I also feel like in the last season, like there was like we met Shimmer, like so I feel like we have to have that, right? Like it's got to
No, you
be
have to continue it. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, yeah. You got to twist the knife, right? You got to honor
Mm,
that. So that's I think like kind of the general episode structure. Obviously, we're going to be dealing with much of the same kind of like themes to do with the game. It's all going to be like centered around revenge and the darker side of like love and that whole aspect. There's a lot of tribalism that's going to be introduced, what with the WLF and the Seraphites. I am really looking forward to the depiction of the Seraphites. They are probably the most intriguing faction in any game or any piece of media I've ever encountered. I hope that they do them justice, what with the whistles and the kind of like kind of well, I say pseudo religion, but like the religious aspect of everything, like nested with sin. Oh, I
it's going to
just
be really tough because when we think about like game 1 was much more of a straightforward story.
Mhm,
Obviously there was world building, but it always was kind of wherever Joel and Ellie were, like that, they're obviously going to like track through things, but it wasn't as big and grand as game 2 is with the WLF and Seraphites and the fact that they're fighting each other. And you know what I
mhm,
mean? One is more militant, one is more religious. Like it's going to be really hard to convey all of that in what limited time we have. So I agree with you. I'm a little concerned, but I do think they'll get the key details right and something that makes I think something that they will have fun with and will be really fun to see depicted on screen is the whistling and kind of the different styles of combat in
mhm.
the Seraphites and the WLF, right? Like the WLF being way more militant and organized, and then having the Seraphites with their creepy whistling. They don't really use guns. I think that will be really fun. It's more of the actual world building. I'm like, how are they gonna seed all of this? It's so much information.
Mhm. Oh, there's so many questions about how they're going to do it. I just have everything crossed.
Mhm.
And aside from that, I think the only kind of major, obviously like changes that we've kind of seen in terms of like reactions to stuff that's happened, like with the previous season, is apparently we're going to get a much higher focus on infected this time round. A common criticism from many people watching is that there weren't enough infected around. I thought
Boo!
I, for one, liked that. I thought that it
Yeah.
impressed upon the audience that okay, yes, it's a tough world because of the infected. That's the whole reason for the whole setup. But humans are the ones to fear in this world.
Yes.
I'm like,
That's always been the thing, Stuart. Like truly, it has always been the thing of back all the way back to Tess being like you could
mm-hmm,
still get ripped apart. You could still there are much worse things out there than infected, right? There are raiders, there are people who are David. Like there are so
yeah,
many bad people in this world. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Now, am I going to be like scoffing and turning away if like a bloater, shambler, whatever the hell comes on my screen? Of course not. But
mm-hmm,
I agree. I think I personally find it way more interesting to have like human enemies, but I think a fine balance it can be struck. So listen, I mean, oh, we're the zombies. Go watch Walking Dead. Like get out of here. Just can't. I just think some people critique, like, it's like, oh, but there were so many more in the video game. Yeah, because it was a video game and you were killing them. Like, that's why there were so
mm-hmm,
many more.
yeah,
Anyway, people with their criticisms. I just don't critique things I like.
yeah, exactly. How dare you? How dare you have the audacity to disagree with
Mm,
us?
yes. Yep.
And of course, like kind of, and this is picking up with the game and things, but like we're gonna be getting some more time in Jackson, obviously, which we kind of get at the beginning, but I think we're gonna probably settle in Jackson a little bit longer. I think based on what we've talked about, maybe episode 1 is gonna be entirely in Jackson, perhaps if it's kind of leading that in, and episode 2 is gonna deal with maybe what happens beyond the walls of Jackson, perhaps. So that's going to be really interesting. And of course, like the game, we're going to get to see a different city that is affected by this whole thing. We're going to get to see Seattle through the lens of Vancouver, from everything I've heard about where it was filmed.
Yeah.
From friend of the pod, Melissa, who was just like, "Yeah, they're filming down the road from my work," and I'm there going, "Skip work, go film it." Alas, no.
Mhm.
But I'm looking forward to that as well. That'll be kind of really interesting. I just love the idea of seeing the whole infected in different climates. Like we've seen them through like snow and everything, but seen through a drizzly lens of somewhere that is perpetually raining or like, at least misty. It's going to be, I think it's going to look great.
It's gonna set the vibe for sure.
Hmm. And then something that we've seen in the trailer, and we will no doubt get into, spores are back. Spores are going to play a part, and this is going to be something that it's going to be tough because in the game there's a big reveal that is centered around spores. I hope maybe it's teased a little bit beforehand and it's not just in that one scene and then becomes a bit of a plot device. It's like, well, how do we make this reveal happen? I hope they tee that up, but we'll see how that kind of turns out when we drill into the trailers.
Certainly, and yeah, the whole Nora aspect of it, like worth it to bring the spores in, even if it's just for that scene, you know?
Yes, yeah, precisely. So there are a ton of promotional pictures that they've been releasing for this. I have trawled through far too many at this stage. Many of them are going to be quite easy to kind of run through. Here we've got Joel, much older.
Daddy Joel to you, Stuart. How
Daddy
dare you.
Joel.
Look at that slutty knee just hanging out there.
look, both of them. Two
Both of
slutty
them.
knees.
Wow.
We're spoiled for slutty knees.
Yeah.
This probably a grab from what seems to be a chat with Gail, which we've seen in the trailer. Gail is a new character that's being introduced. Apparently, a therapist.
Yeah, our Moira Rose decided to leave Schitt's Creek and become a therapist in Jackson, Wyoming. Yeah, one and only Catherine O'Hara, icon, queen. We love her.
Does seem to be her style. Jesse and Ellie at the barn dance. We're getting the barn dance, people. It's happening.
Not only we're getting the barn dance, but Jesse, I love him so much. He's such a sweet baby child.
This was one of the first kind of images that was released to kind of like tease everything that was going on. And immediately you're like, yep, that's Jesse. Like,
same vibe.
Same vibe. And what I think is great is that this shows that like Bella Ramsey can play older. Bella Ramsey does not play a 14-year-old for the rest of her life. Like, looks as if like she fits into this. And as well, like kind of we're seeing just this more assured look on their face as well. There's something about this that really hit. And I was just like, yes, I think they're going to nail it. They're going to nail it.
Yeah.
Another interesting photo. New character, who dis?
There's
Tommy
a
and
baby.
Marie's kid is grown. Must be like what, like 4.5, 5. I think
looks like a 5 or 6-year-old-ish. Yeah.
Yeah. But good to see that they seem to still be together and
And
I'm sure no trauma will come their way.
Let's all be real. Game Maria is nowhere near as good as Show Maria. So very happy to have Show Maria here to stay.
Yes. Then we finally got our first look at the Salt Lake crew. This is so great because I think you can see the plight of this journey on all of their faces. You see Abby determined, walking ahead. You've got Owen, who's like looks a little unsure about things. Mel looks a fair bit different from the game, Mel. And then we have Nora and Manny picking things up. I love the fact that even in this photo, we get the vibe of the crew is that Abby is dragging them to where they need to get to.
Yeah.
That is determined and is looking so good. Also, just armored up to the teeth, it seems. Come from clearly a militaristic settlement.
Yeah, it looks like Abby raided a Carhartt store. Just like, especially the pants. I feel like they all did.
We We get our first look at Dina as well.
Ah,
Very kind of
Shimmer.
different vibe by the looks of it. We do get a look at Shimmer as well.
Uh, listen, I have something to say to the creators and just general society. No one better harm a hair on Dina's head. Do you understand
Yeah,
me?
Dina
Because
is precious.
Dina is precious, okay? The way that people feel about Ellie in game 1 is how I felt about Dina because Dina is joy in life. And I love her
Hmm.
so much. And I'm so excited to see her on my screen. Cause she's like, while Ellie it has this like wide-eyed, I don't even know optimism is the word, but just like this like life in game 1. I
Hmm.
think Dina brings that in game 2. In the very beginning with the snowball fight. Like it's just like it's everything. So nobody better harm Dina because she's a sweet baby angel.
Oh, part of me hopes we get the snowball fight in some way. I mean, I think it's a bit hopeful, but I do hope.
But it's so fun and cute.
Yeah. Then we get Tommy being someone of authority within Jackson.
Oh
Seems
my
to be people
hand
seem
on a
to look up
hip.
to. Slight slutty knee, like ever so
He learns it
slightly.
from his brother.
I learned from watching you.
Joel, look at this
um,
slutty knee. I know how to give orders. Yeah.
yeah, I think when I saw some people kind of speculate on what this could be, what with the kind of like hand around the woman there of like kind of almost like comforting them. I think this could be post
Post
Joel.
Joel. I was thinking
Could
the same
be.
thing. Is he like
Yeah.
telling them probably? I maybe that like
Yeah.
he's just like announcing. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Like especially the woman being kind of comforted by that guy in the background.
Yeah.
This is the sign of a because he's not like up in arms. It's more so like got bad news for you guys. That's the vibe he's giving
Mhm.
off.
We won't go through all of them because there is so much, and many of these are going to be shown in the trailers themselves. But ones that kind of jumped out to me, obviously, is seeing Ellie and Tommy on patrol together, which
Yay!
was a curious choice because obviously in the game, Ellie and Dina go out on patrol together.
Yep.
And this is matched up with this photo of Joel and Dina out on patrol together, which certainly seems to imply that they are mixing things up, or at least maybe we're getting more
Yeah.
scenes than what we expected, at least.
Yeah, if they do mix things up and have Ellie and Tommy and then Dina and Joel, part of me likes it because it gives Dina more of a reason. And I'm not trying to downplay her feelings for Ellie, but like if she's tight with Joel, if she feels partly responsible, it makes more sense that she would then want to go to Seattle. The downside is the moment with Eugene's weed stash and the moment with Dina and Ellie where like they have sex for the first like all of that
Hmm.
happens on their patrol. So like obviously this doesn't have to be them patrolling. This literally could just be them like on horses together, but usually when you're on horses you're going patrolling. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm of two minds, but I trust the show can do it well. I just like oh, it would kind of stink to miss some of the Dina Ellie content that we get while they're on patrol together.
It really would. I think there might be some positives though. Like kind of the fact that we see Dina with Joel here. I mean, we never see this in the game. Like they don't interact ever, really, as far as I can recall. So maybe building their relationship is a good thing to do as well. Builds up perhaps a reason why Dina does go along with things so kind of so viscerally.
Mhm.
To kind of maybe throw a bit of a theory into the works is we
As a
get
sniper rifle right
a
there.
sniper rifle right there, which makes us think maybe we're going to get one of those flashbacks, and maybe in a different setting. Obviously, the flashback that we get with the sniper rifle is kind of like in a almost like a late summer's day, kind of the
This will
sun's
be a lot easier
low.
for Ellie to make the shot because they're going to stand out against the snow so much better than against the
Exactly,
grass.
yeah.
Because I struggled with this part of the game, so Ellie will have an easier time in the snow.
You mean you weren't headshotting those mother effers from
It's
half a mile
really
away?
hard because you have to like account for the downward slope of the bullet, and I don't shoot things. Okay, that's it. That's all I have to say.
And then a
Mm.
confirmation that yeah, we saw it with the first photo, but we are 100% getting the
Faithful.
barn
Sorry.
dance. We are we are getting we are getting Ellie and Dina and their first kiss.
It's so
This is
sweet. Look at
this
the
is
little
gonna
twinkly
be
lights.
if they accompany this with the same music from the game, like they've already matched the vibe immediately. So yeah, unfortunately, this does mean we're getting Seth. I think
Seth
we know that
can
Seth has
get
been
out of here.
cast. So yeah,
Well, the
it's
other thing is, as I hate Seth, okay? We all do. You kinda need him as proof that, like, Jackson isn't a utopia. Like, there are
yes.
still problems in the world in general. People still will have ass backwards views.
Hmm.
So like as much as I hate Seth, and I mean on top of that, then you that he's the catalyst, the inciting incident with the whole Joel blow up. So you
Yes.
really do need him, even though we don't need him in the world at large.
Even
Yeah,
as a storytelling device, not as an actual person. Yeah.
yeah, we hate him IRL, but yeah.
Yeah. And then we get first picture of a new character,
Woo!
Gail, who does our very favorite Moira Rose, Catherine
Queen.
Ara.
Look at
Uh,
her.
Wonderful to see her playing possibly a very serious role. She's a therapist by all accounts. So given that she sat opposite Joel, and in the trailer we've seen her asking Joel questions, like Joel seeking therapy. What are they getting into? Maybe we're going to get him divulging to someone else about Ellie's immunity. Maybe he kind of divulges that to
Yeah,
her.
doctor-patient
Um,
confidentiality.
yeah, I'd be hard pressed to think that Catherine O'Hara might bring some levity to the role. I mean, it's Catherine O'Hara for
It's
a
very
reason,
funny.
but
Yeah, but she
she
looks like a
plays
Gale.
serious though. She does
Mhm.
look like a Gale.
She looks just like a Gale. Yeah.
Mm,
No, I'm really excited. I think, my love of my life, Melanie Linsky, was in season 1. And so I'm really happy to see another queen in season 2 in Catherine O'Hara. And again, when we add in these new characters, I'm always interested to see what the vibe's gonna be. Like, are they able to kind of entrench them so much in the story and in the world that they feel like they could have been part of the video game.
mhm.
I think, if we're looking at anything, Bill and Frank are the best examples of like the video game making a change that really enhanced the show experience. And I'm hoping Gail does the same.
Yeah. So, saw the pictures. Let's get into some trailers. There was a
Yeah.
lot that was released. First came is a little, almost like a little teaser. It came and shows immediately barn dance is happening. And as we're
Mhm.
getting the shots of this, obviously the tattoo, which is going to be so important, we get this of Gail asking Joel, "What did you do?" It's a lot to like unpack here with these really frantic shots as well. First look at
Mhm.
Abby, clickers and the things. So what I thought is if we just kind of run through real quick, I
Mhm.
kind of want to go frame by frame, but like here, Ellie screaming like mad here. I had a thought when this was first coming out that this could have been like a scene of like perhaps them doing the chemical burn to try
That's what
and
I was,
hide
yeah.
thing. But there's almost a look of like, I don't know, like she's shocked.
I was gonna say, I feel like a self-inflicted wound would have less of a visceral reaction, and I don't
Mhm.
know, in my mind, she always did that alone. I don't know that we know for certain that she did the chemical burn by herself, but I see people in the background in
Y
this shot,
Yeah.
so
People walking through, walking away. It looks like she's certainly being taken to a medical thing. Maybe it could be a dream or a nightmare even of like maybe what
yeah.
could have gone
Well,
wrong in the, Firefly thing if she'd gone with that. I
so
don't
it
know.
does look like there's a hand on her shoulder, and it also looks like the top
Y
that she's wearing is not an Ellie top. Like, it is almost like a
No.
gauzy sort of something or other across the
Mhm.
bust area. So, yeah, I don't know what is, because 'cause I'm trying to think of, like, when was Ellie tortured, you know what I mean? Like, what predicament would she be in here? And I'm coming up blank, so I don't know.
Yeah, certainly some questions to be asked there. Then we get this shot of a horde. seemingly running towards Jackson and Tommy
Mhm.
sniping from up top, which certainly kind of lends itself to maybe a big set piece in episode 2, perhaps, if Milo is
Yeah.
involved. Bring that Game of Thrones experience to the
Yeah,
mix,
baby.
probably, which will be really interesting. Maybe we'll see whether Tommy is as good of a shooter as he claims.
I love that being set up in last season only, to and the game obviously to see it play out hopefully in this season.
Yeah. Then we get the Seraphites. First look at them running through what looks to be a very kind of dark forest. I really hope this is our first encounter with them. Or at least maybe it's the Abbey scene being strung
Mhm.
up. That would be utterly terrifying to
But
actually
either
see
way,
played out.
the vibes, right, with all the like, because this is exactly what I remember playing through, is like you're in a very heavily wooded, green, lush forest. It's
Hmm.
dark. All you have is like kind of the torchlight, and it's very misty. And it looks to be what I would think that would be. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Then we get a very sad
Sad
shot here. A
Dina.
Dina, very
Sad
sad Dina.
Dina.
It's holding up a lantern. Seems to be wielding a gun. I have a feeling this could be post Flair's scene in the subway. Maybe
Okay.
it's the discovery of maybe Ellie having breathing spores. Maybe this is like pre CG with like spores floating around, maybe or something. No,
What
because then she would be wearing a gas mask, so it can't be
Well,
that.
the other thing well, no, that wouldn't be dark, because that would be light when Dina crashes through the window and then saves Ellie. That's during the daytime, right? So maybe that's not
They
that.
might be changing it. It looks like she's looking
Mhm.
at something and then looks up. I don't know
Yeah,
whether it's like a discovery thing. I don't know, but we
yeah.
are look by that shot
Wow.
looking very like, oh, Bella
You got a
Ramsey's such a
machine gun.
badass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't get that in the game.
Nope.
I will
Wish I
say
did.
with resentment, yeah. Then we get this gorgeous shot of what looks to
So
be
pretty.
Wyoming and a single figure walking around. That's gonna be Abby in the morning, right? Going off on
Yeah,
her own.
gotta
Oh,
be.
I can't wait for that. Isaac looking menacing as anything, scar on his face,
Yeah,
bringing out a
Jeffrey
gun.
Wright. Look at him.
I've got a feeling this might be putting the one that he's interrogating out of
The
commission,
naked
maybe.
person. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Looks like that. Although saying that, it does look like he's in a kitchen. Based on things hanging
Oh,
up,
yeah, the vent.
unless they are torturing devices that are hanging up there in the background. I don't know.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's a really organized
Could
thing.
be.
There's a lot to think of. Iconic shot of Abby crawling through the horde as well. This is very similar to the game.
Mhm.
Looks claustrophobic as hell.
I
If
hated
they
playing
grab
through
her,
it.
if they grab the beanie off of her head, chef's kiss. If they get that touch to it, I will love it so much.
Mhm. It's a
And
toque
then
there
we
in Canada, Stuart.
a toque. Sorry, no,
Mhm.
it's Wyoming.
I'm saying they're filming.
Oh, of course. Okay.
Ah.
You're confusing Shit's Creek there for a moment. Then we get a frantic shot of people riding horses through the snow in what looks to be quite a frantic way. I think those are Maria's braids that I see there as well, which makes
Oh,
me think
okay, I was kind of
maybe,
wondering. Yeah.
yeah. So I think maybe this could be them rushing out,
To go
probably in
save.
search of Joel, maybe or something.
Yeah.
Then we get probably the funniest screen grab of Bella, just absolutely terrified. But yeah, the backgrounds with the red, the subway cart, like this is gonna be
Yeah.
tremendous. This is gonna be so good. And then how does he
No,
do
not
it?
the single look at that tear just
Look at
bubbling
it.
over the edge.
And it
Oh, and there
goes.
it goes.
He's such a professional.
Oh, I love
And
him so
then
much.
that's the end of that one. Phenomenal, like little teaser into things. And
Mhm.
then we got the actual Last of Us Day official teaser, which kind of came
Yeah.
out, which then confirmed Gail is a therapist.
Look at that, setting their kitchen timer. Says, "You got an hour."
Joel
Sorry,
is
59
going
minutes.
into
Yeah.
therapy. We get this phenomenal shot, of course, Ellie walking through Jackson. I can't wait to actually see Jackson
So
fleshed out and to
beautiful.
like see it. It's something to it. I don't know whether it's just everyone kind of working the street. Like you see a lot of hubs of like activity going on in the background. it just feels real,
Well, it also
which is
felt like
great.
when you're playing the game when you're playing game 2 and you get to walk around Jackson, like, you get to listen in on conversations and interact with
Mhm.
people and pet a dog. Like, it just felt more open world in a way, and I like that the show feels like that too. Like, it feels big and small at the same time, you know? Like,
Yeah,
it's like you're in a community of people, but also it's not, like, huge. It's not like New York City.
yeah.
So, yeah, really exciting.
Certainly is not like New York City.
Mm-mm.
I think we know when we're
Mailbox.
gonna see this shot. This is gonna be post-death. This is gonna be exploring
Yeah.
Joel's, house, I
And his
think.
love of horses.
Yeah. We get the guitar. It's happening. The guitar as well with the, little moth at the very top,
Mhm.
and then we get the scene as well of, obviously, them on good terms,
Yeah.
where I think this is probably the initial point where he gifts Ellie the
It
guitar.
looks like it because his hair doesn't look quite as long or gray as they
Yeah.
make it later on.
And this is, again, like, just the way in which, oh, we're definitely getting the chemical burn. There's the bandage
Oh, there's
on
the
there
bandage.
as well,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Nice.
this is what I was getting at with, like, Bella being such a great choice for Ellie, is that, like, at times Bella can play very young,
Yeah, they look young
whether and
here.
yeah, and I think but in all other scenes, they look incredibly, like, not incredibly old, but, like, much older. They look at, like,
It's in the
more
hair
actually
and
close to
face.
their age.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look fresh-faced and young here.
Mhm.
Oh,
Acclaimed HBO series. We get the shot, the wide one again.
that's
We
beautiful.
get a patrol going on, which looks like
I
I
can't
hope
tell who that is.
it's Ali and Dina, but
It kinda looks they look like small figures, so maybe
yeah.
it is.
But we do get Ellie and Dina in a very iconic scene, which is definitely happening. The one if you go to the music store and you interact in the right way, we get Take on Me. Whether it's going to be the same song, we'll
It has to be.
find
It
out. It's
has
got
to
to
be.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
The porch scene is happening. Now, this is curious, right? Because Ellie does not look happy there, which
No.
makes us think it's definitely post barn dance. But we don't get this scene until towards the end of the game. So
No,
are they bringing
especially
that
because
forward?
yeah, it's interesting because definitely it's from the post barn dance, considering what Ellie's wearing, how Ellie's hair looks, and then obviously Joel
Mhm.
looks older. This is after this isn't part of the flashback where he gifts the guitar.
Yeah.
So she looks pissed.
Very
So yeah,
pissed.
it'll be really interesting to see how they do that. Like you said, it's at the end of the game. So maybe they'll move it
Mhm.
forward.
We get
Look at Jesse's
Jesse
arms. Get out
looking
of
like a
here.
snack.
Who gave him the right?
What's interesting about this is they look like they're building or
Yeah, they have
something.
some
So,
wood in the background. What's going
yeah,
on
I'm not
there?
sure if it looks maybe warmer, than
Listen,
what it
I'm
is. They
not
don't
gonna
seem to be
complain
many
about the
coats.
slow-mo shot of Jesse just with them guns. He doesn't need any real guns. Look at
Should
those
just do that
guns.
for the rest of
Yeah.
the podcast, just this over and over.
God.
But I wonder if this is maybe a flashback to something in Jackson,
Sure,
'cause it
yeah,
looks
it
like
could
they're
be because there's no
building.
snow, right? He's wearing short sleeves, like,
Yeah.
knife.
We
Yeah,
get
Ellie's knife. Blood.
Ellie's knife and blood. I think this could be a Seattle thing, maybe tending to wounds,
Mhm.
maybe cutting a bullet out or something would be quite
Mhm.
interesting. Tommy, as we saw in the previous one, at the top of the wall, looking down, and we get confirmation in this scene that we're getting the return of the stalkers by the looks of it, because that didn't look like a really clever one.
Yeah.
I am really not looking forward to Stalkers. That is going to be probably the worst thing to see in
Stalkers are
the
the
show.
worst. They're the worst. In the video game, they're awful. Like, stop. Like, you don't need to be
Mhm.
creepy crawlies, okay? There's already enough jump scares. Like, stop it.
Yeah,
Look at that one.
but there's
Creeped it.
so much potential for like creepy shots. Like we see this one if I go back, just them just in the background, out of focus, and
Ooh.
only if you're paying attention will you probably see them. Uh, it's gonna be awful. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awful. Then we get Gail, and we get Abby
Abby,
grieving
buy a
what is
gravestone marker.
with a firefly pendant over it as well. This is gonna
Yeah.
be rough.
Yeah. Yeah, this has to be flashback out Abby. I feel
Mhm.
like her hair is pretty short. This is flashback Abby
Yes.
hair. That's how you know.
Oh, but yeah. There's that horde running towards, which that is. They say we're getting more infected. I think we can take them for their word. We are
It's a
getting
lot.
more infected this season.
Who's that guy?
Um,
Do we know?
I don't know actually. Possibly just someone within Jackson itself. I don't think that's a named person, at least named
Mhm.
character. But yeah,
Imagine being that actor. Me like, hell yeah, look at me in the trailer. Look at me.
exactly. Oh gosh, but yeah, that's going to be terrifying with all of them attacking.
Mhm.
I wonder
Coming
if
in
this
real
is going to
fast.
be around the same time as obviously this happening in the background. So the horde
Yeah.
attacking Jackson leads to the chaos of why they don't go out immediately when things kind of go bad. Maybe that is easier to run than a blizzard, perhaps.
Yeah.
Um, but we get Abby crawling through and then getting rescued at the last minute by what looks like a revolver. So we know that we're getting Joel doing the
Yep.
rescue. That is going to be incredible. Now, this is something that many people have dived through meticulously because we get three people out here at this point.
Okay.
Um, that I would say is almost
That's
certainly Dina in the background.
that's Dina's horse. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it's that beigey color.
And that looks like Joel up front, which means is that Abby? Are we getting a transfer of Tommy to Dina in that scene?
That would make sense considering most of what we've seen of Tommy has been defending Jackson in all these trailers.
Hmm.
We've seen him
Yes.
defending Jackson constantly, right? So if you're right and the timing ends up working out like you said, where we have Joel and Dina out on patrol, and I don't know what Ellie would be up to. Is she out with Tommy? What doing the shooting? Like the practice shooting? And
Could be that.
then because that in the
Maybe
game,
they
that's a
trip.
flashback.
Maybe they set it
Um,
off. They shoot the wrong clicker and it feeds in through a
that's a
like
big
a
mistake.
yeah, that would be.
But either way, yeah, to have Joel and Dina being the ones on patrol, and then something happens. Tommy has to take care of all this horde coming in. Everyone's a
Hmm.
little distracted. Then Dina and Joel save Abby, but end up, getting endangered. Goodness gracious, that's gonna yeah, that'll really get Dina anti-Abby right
Yeah.
there. Ooh,
Then we get a
Seraphite.
shot of Seraphite with the scars, which the WLF will give them their nicknames. Not a very nice one. Um, Again, hunting through the forest. That's going to be quite
Mhm,
kind of visceral. We get confirmation they are going to lean into the religion of it all with the Seraphites as well. They're not going to
mhm,
cut that out, which I think is a great thing. I love the exploration of religion in this post-apocalyptic world and like what it means and whether or not they turn to old religions or, in this case, new religions, which will be really interesting to see.
mhm.
It looks like, and then finding it, someone getting dragged by a horse. This scene looks brutal for the stunt work. I've got a feeling
Yeah.
this might lend into maybe if that's Ellie, I'm gonna lose my mind.
That can't be Ellie.
I
It
don't think it
almost
will
looks like the
be.
same surroundings as, when we saw the Seraphites, because it's very,
Hmm.
misty, greenery sort of thing.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't know
Yeah, I don't
who
know.
that is, but
Looks
whoever it is,
brutal,
not
though.
having a great day. Um, and speaking of someone not having a great day,
Oh, no!
we get this person who's being interrogated by Isaac. Again, they've nailed the vibe of just them being like super, just like kind of you can
Emaciated
tell, like,
and
not
yeah.
just like also like the eyes, like you're not sure whether it's black eyes or whether it's just like deprivation or something.
Yeah.
Like the amount of kind of emotional torture that goes into these characters as well. Like even in the game, guys, it's like don't let them sleep. It's like oh, it's so ruthless, and you can see all the
Yeah.
impact of the tiles behind from obviously previous things. Like this is
Mhm.
oh, this is gonna be tough to watch, and Isaac just looks like a badass. Uh, the horde attacking. Three people on horses there.
Oh, yeah. Was one
Interesting.
of them,
That's
oh,
Maria
yeah,
again,
that's
I
Maria.
think.
Okay, I was gonna ask. That's Maria. I wonder if one of the other 2 is Jesse, possibly?
Could very well be. Maybe left could be Jesse.
hard to tell from behind, but I
I
agree
don't know
with you,
who that
Maria
is on the
certainly.
right, though. The right, though, looks like someone wearing I don't know, I'm getting a slightly yellow tone to the cab. It's hard to,
I
like,
agree.
get with the coloring of the lighting and everything. It's a very kind of
Yeah.
blue washed. Oh, but it's certainly not Joel. And I'm not sure if that is Tommy. So,
Really hard to tell from behind, yeah,
yeah.
with all the hats and stuff, impossible.
Mhm. So, it's on fire.
I mean, love
Um,
fire. Oh,
these 2, this is certainly gonna be this post, Horde attack, potentially even post Joel.
that's the thing
Maria
I'm trying
looks
to figure out.
upset.
Yeah, Maria looks upset. Tommy has blood coming from his, like, eyebrow area.
Mhm.
Um, they better not kill their kid or something. That would be brutal. I think she'd
No,
look more upset
I've
than
got
that.
a feeling they would certainly be more distraught than this I
Yeah.
mean, if it were to happen in this scene and things. I
Yeah.
think maybe it's just, like, Maria's probably certainly gonna be upset about Jackson. I mean, Jackson is, like, her vision in the game. It's like her and her father have set it up, and, like, she is pivotal in its running.
Yeah.
So yeah, could get that. What look like
WLF
this is
maybe?
interesting. WLF, but they don't seem to have much branding, which I
No,
think
they're
the
just
newer
very
ones tend to.
militia-y looking. They also
Yeah,
shopped
which
at the Carhartt store.
if they did, I think this could be the Isaac, because I know we're getting a lot more Isaac than what we do in the
Okay,
game
that
in
would
terms
make
of, like, his
sense.
backstory,
It just
and I'm
they
like,
look very militant in there in that they have, like, "Okay, you 2 open the door while the other one has the gun with the light," and you know
mhm.
what I mean? It's giving cop.
Yeah, I think they might be telling the story of how they took Seattle, perhaps. I
Oh,
think that
okay.
could be quite interesting to tell.
Mm.
Complete speculation on my part.
Oh,
Bella being a
look at that.
badass with an assault rifle.
Look at that.
Again, what looks like, I don't know, some sort of walkway. I have no
Hmm,
idea of the
I
setting of
don't
this.
know.
Maybe this could be the hospital.
I was gonna actually say that because it almost looks like one of those, like, walkway things at a
Hmm.
hospital.
Yeah, I
Looks
can
very commercial.
absolutely get that. Yes. So
Mhm.
maybe like battling away through.
Oh, the
This is
subway.
the subway. This is going to
I
be
love the red lights on the subway. Look at
so
that.
good.
Oh, there's
Oh,
another one of Ellie screaming. The
yeah.
with the gauze top.
Oh, so we
Yeah.
just
No,
see the
we're
faces
both
of
just
them.
like, "Where is it? We must figure it
Um,
out." It's just so
yeah.
strange because, like, yeah, because someone is holding her down
Hmm.
and,
A different
she ha
hand than before. I think the hand before was black, which made me think it was Maria
definitely,
before. This rolled
definitely.
up sleeves could be Joel. Um, could also be
But what would they
Tommy,
be
I
holding
guess.
her down for?
That's why I think it. Oh gosh, that look on her
Like, she
face.
looks like more than just it's more than just physical pain, right? Like, it
Yeah,
has to be based on that.
I
Is
wonder
that
if
Joel? Is that Tommy?
I don't think that's either of them.
I don't know who that is.
I I maybe this is coming to after everything. Maybe this is just a realization that what happened did happen, and it's that just like
Oh, has
yeah,
she been, like,
he is
unconscious
gone.
or something, and that
Mm,
maybe the gauze is like a bandage on around their, like, midsection sort of a
could
thing?
very well be.
Yeah.
This is so interesting. That's certainly the most intriguing
The
shot
thing we don't
from
know,
everything.
yeah. The
Yeah,
main thing we really can't figure out what it is. Look at that
yeah.
single tear again. Look at it.
Pedro with a single T can just get the F out. Like, we get it. We get it, Pedro. You want an Emmy. And we get
Yeah.
the titles, which
Oh,
look
the
great.
guitar.
And yeah, beautiful scene, obviously, of the guitar being gifted.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ugh,
a less so beautiful scene, Max. Still
incredible.
got 2 more to go.
I mean, yeah.
We got the teaser. I believe this was the final teaser. We get the shots, the iconic shots that we
Yeah.
relive several times through in terms of Abby's nightmares of walking down. If they show us the actual discovery, it's going to be tough. But yeah, we get
Yes.
Abby walking through and the aftermath of the Salt Lake Hospital, St. Mary's.
Yeah. It's also interesting that, like, in the game, we don't know who Abby is in relation to everything for a good long
Hmm.
while. Like, you can
Yeah,
speculate, but we don't get confirmation for a while. Whereas I find it so fascinating that they're giving us this in the trailer. Like,
yeah.
if you're obviously, if you're looking this much into it, most likely you probably already know who Abby is and her relation to everything. But it's very blatant that they have, okay, she has a firefly on her pendant. She's obviously, like, this to me reads as hospital anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's very interesting that they're like, not here you go.
Hmm. Oh, it looks so good. I was really worried because, of course, it doesn't have the iconic, like, kind of Firefly spray paint that they do have in the game. But I
Yeah.
think they've made it. I mean, I think maybe that might have been a bit hokey for a TV show. I think for this, it kind of works perfect,
Hmm.
and the lighting just looks so good. Um, Can't wait for that. I can't wait for that to be horrendously brutal. Several seconds of darkness, and then we get a bell being tolled. This is all the
It's giving the
preparations.
wall in Game of
Sniper
Thrones.
really is again. Mark my lords, perhaps.
I
I've got
can't
high
wait.
hopes.
I can't wait.
Um, then
No, not the sickle.
they are nested with sin. I think what's really interesting here is this is really blurry and dark. I think that's a set of feet on a bucket, which makes me think we're getting
Oh, that's
Abby.
Abby.
We're getting the Abby scene, which is curious because
Because that's when
obviously,
Lev is introduced.
indeed, and I don't think we've had any casting
We've not heard.
information about
We would
that.
have heard. We would have heard if Lev was cast, don't you think?
Hmm. So I don't know when they're actually going to end this because I've always been under the assumption it's going to end with the scene, or obviously you wasted it. In which case, from Ellie's perspective, you don't know Lev is there. It's just Abby.
Right. Lev is there, but we don't know because we haven't had the flash or the
Yeah.
flashback to Seattle with Abby yet. But if they're messing with the timeline a little bit, which we presume they are, because you kind of
Hmm.
have to set up who Abby is. You can't just then, we're going to start
Yeah.
season 3 and it's all Abby all the time. Like, no, you're not going to do that for a
Hmm.
show. So maybe I maybe we still don't get Lev, maybe Abby gets, but it's so important
I want.
that it's
I want.
Lev and her sister, or Lev and his
And Yara.
sister.
Yeah.
What Yara, think I'm blanking on the name. That help Abby out of this, right? That's like the important part, is that Lev and Yara help Abby.
Yeah. Exactly. So I wonder
Hmm.
if perhaps maybe we get the setup for this scene, and maybe it cuts with an arrow going in, and then we get where Abby ends up. So maybe there's a kind of bit of a mystery as to how that
And
will
then
get resolved that
season
will be
3,
explained in
we kind
season
of,
3, which we get
yeah.
maybe a bit of a flashback and maybe a 11 Yara episode that leads into
If we're
that
gonna
perhaps to show
get
how those get together.
if
I'd
we're
love
gonna
that.
get a season 3, like, character focused episode like we got in season 1 with Bill and Frank, and we're seemingly gonna get in season 2 with Eugene, possibly Isaac, uh, if we don't get one for Lev and Yara in season
Mhm.
3, shut it all down. Because, like,
Yeah.
truly, Lev is one of the characters that we haven't mentioned a ton about Lev, because we know we're probably not getting Lev this season. It's more of a season 3 thing, but, like, hands down one of the best characters, especially one of the best new characters
Yeah.
in game 2. So I think it would be wild of them to not, like, have Lev involved in some way, even if it is like secretly Lev was there, but you don't know he was there until
Mhm.
season 3, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can completely see that happening that way. And you're right, like to not have a Lev centric or a 11 Euro centric episode would be criminal because I mean, how like what better vessel to show you the Seraphites through a way to like
Exactly.
humanize them than those two? Like
Well,
those two
just
siblings
proves
are just yeah.
it just proves that, like, you're from this group, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're a monster. Like, you were born
Mhm.
into this group, and Lev and Yara are perfect representations. And not only that, but, like, really humanize Abby in a massive way. So
Hugely. Because
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of I think a lot of season two is going to be setting up Abby as to be quite a bad character. I think despite the fact that I think that maybe they'll show a bit more nuance in terms of like humanizing Abby's perspective a bit more. I think there's
Mhm.
going to be a lot of hatred towards Abby for what
Oh,
happens.
certainly.
So yeah, having that redemption come in season 3 would be such, I think, a really great way to tell the story and to space that out, and to like
Mhm.
just bring a different dynamic to it. So yeah, I was so pleased when I saw this shot. The lighting
Mhm.
again is at night. It looks very faithful to what the game was. Um, if we
100%
get
faithful, yeah.
the line nested with sin, it's gonna be so good.
Mhm.
Another shot of Isaac, seemingly sat down. I think this could be interrogation scene of the person that we saw before, although the lighting doesn't necessarily match.
Yeah, I
So
was
maybe
gonna say,
this
I
is
think
a
the
more
setting
intense
is a little
conversation
different.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah, the scar is there, which makes me think that it's certainly later in Isaac's life, perhaps.
Mhm.
But yeah, nothing else to go on other than that. Same fire shot, same Crawley shot. This is an interesting new shot of them fleeing. This could be related, maybe
Hmm.
post
It looks like it might be
subway.
raining and or wet, so, like, definitely Seattle, but
Yeah, it looks like they might be going through like a QZ point as well. It looks like maybe that's like a turnstile or something ahead
oh, yeah,
or
yeah,
a
yeah.
door.
I could see that. Mhm.
So yeah, maybe it's them kind of fleeing. Maybe the initial entry. It could be kind of like jumping through. We get the
Dang.
bracelet, which is yeah, definitely happening. We get another shot of the 3 on horseback again. We think that might be Dina in the back, possibly Joel up top, and someone with a beanie in what looks like tan trousers on the back. I'm convinced that's Abby.
I agree because I do think I am seeing a slight bit of, like, a ponytail, like, flopping, but I could just be reading into it. Like, maybe it's the hood. I
I
don't
feel
know.
like
I
going
just
full
want it to be.
CSI. I'm like enhance,
Yeah. Enhance,
enhance.
enhance, enhance.
We get this shot of the grave again, subway.
Oh, so bad. I cannot
Oh,
wait for
it's
the
gonna be
subway.
so
It's gonna be
visceral. The
so
clicker
badass.
looks
Look at that.
fantastic
The
as well.
single
Single
tier
tier.
again
Oh, we get Joel of another further shot, possibly after rescuing
after
Abby.
rescuing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then slamming that shot. Oh, it's a mine shaft this time.
Okay. Now, now, no,
Oh,
yeah, I agree. I was thinking about the next thing with
sorry.
Ellie and the gauze.
Yes.
Because this is a bed. This looks like a hospital bed. This has to
Yeah.
be Joel is dead. They've saved Ellie, but Ellie has been unconscious or something. And Ellie wakes up and just starts screaming. That is my guess.
I think it could very well be that. I mean, the fact that it's like you see it in the background, I mean, shirt tucked into Levi's, 100% this is Jackson, right? You're not going to
Only
get this
people
on
in
a
Jackson
Seattle
wear
box.
shirts tucked into their Levi's.
Well, they're
Yeah.
all ranchers, they're all cowboys out
I
there,
am
right?
agreeing with you. Yes.
So it's
I'm
like, I think
agreeing with you.
100%, yeah, this is definitely a medical facility that seems to be in Jackson. And yeah, I think this could be the whole
Yeah.
waking up from everything and maybe like processing the trauma of just what's happened.
Mhm. Ooh.
Curious
Who you
shot there.
fighting, Ellie? Who you fighting? Look
Yeah.
at you.
Yeah, Ellie training for something, it seems to
Training
be.
montage.
Yeah. Well, off we get the Rocky theme.
Exactly. Bring Ellie to Philadelphia just to go up the steps.
Dina. He's so silly. Yeah. Again, and it's another thing possibly with Craig Mason's take on Ellie is like she's activated by violence. Maybe this is a good channel for that violence. Maybe Ellie
Yeah.
is learning to process it a bit. Boxing is a great vessel for that. But this look like she's training with someone. There seems to be a finger holding on to the pad as well. So she's not just
Yeah.
doing this on her own. She does have at least some support in this endeavor from someone. This, which looks like
Hmm.
something gallery. All I can say is they're open till 6 on Tuesdays. I don't think they will be for much longer
Nope.
because it's explaining that's got to be a storefront in Jackson. I'm imagining of like while this is all happening.
Yeah.
Oh, rough. And
Subway.
this shot. I mean, you know immediately what shot this is, right? This is got to be
Yeah.
Laura.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's Nora. 'Cause that's when
oh.
they go fall into the bottom of the whatever,
Hmm.
hospital, whatever it's called. Yeah, and then there's that like there's the red lights in this game and show are so important because they're just it's
Mhm.
always means like, oh, something's gonna happen. And
It's a great
the
thing of
lighting.
misdirecting the trailer as well. I think many people are probably gonna think that this scene is connected to the subway scene as well. So
Yeah.
when the subway
Well, at
scene
first I did
happens,
too, because you
they
see the
won't see
red
this
lights.
coming. Yeah.
Yeah, you see the red lights, but then it's like, oh wait, no, because the look on Ellie's face and the gun and the yeah, we know who you pointing that gun at, Ellie.
Yeah. My only critique at this point is that Ellie's looks maybe a little beaten up in the face there, but nowhere near as beaten up as Game Ellie is at this point. Because
Yeah,
upon
real
returning
rough.
from this scene, is the kind of like shirt comes off and you see the scars and everything post Hillcrest. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see a bit more on that front elsewhere, but maybe they might be taking a different direction with it. Who
Yeah.
knows? Um, oh, so interesting. I wonder if they're going to add in spores for that. They've got to, right?
They have to.
Maybe
That's
this
because
is
that was the whole thing, was Nora was gonna
Mhm.
die from the spores.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And again, further trailer misdirect with the flare, obviously tying the previous scene to the flare scene as well to make you kind of think that
Mhm.
maybe that is something associated with that. Try and get people going. No one cares about Max. Go away. So then lastly, we get our final trailer, the official one. This one starts with Ellie creeping through, wearing the Converse over broken glass. From what looks like, if it's the same scene that flows into this one, the um, the store at the beginning when Ellie and Dina are on patrol. This is when they kind of encounter a couple of runners. But the
Mhm.
trailer probably thinking something else. Trailer's thinking, nah, stalker time. I think we're getting
Uh-huh.
stalkers early. Um,
Yeah.
oh dear, that's gonna be spicy if stalkers are introduced this early.
'Cause it just
Um,
adds a layer of, like, fear of, like, "Oh my god, there's more." Like, there's more out there we have
yeah.
to be worried about.
Oh, but like, again, this shows how great they are as devices of like just showing the horror of just very out of focus shot of just them blurry
So
crawling around in the background.
creepy.
Oh, the watch still on the
Iconic
wrist,
Jules
still
launch.
remembered.
Yeah.
More grieving, Firefly Graves. And then this, I think, this made a lot of people very happy.
Yeah, 'cause
Uh,
it's the
we
museum.
get the museum scene. We
Look at
get
that
them making
slutty
the
little
journey
knee.
towards it. Oh wait, yeah. Let's go back. We have to honor a slutty knee.
You have to
Oh
honor the
Pedro.
slutty knee. Look at
Oh,
him
look at that.
popping that bitch right on out.
He
Look at
loves
him.
it.
He loves to
Man
pop
just
that
cannot.
knee.
Man can just not stand on a flat level ground. Must have one raised at
He
all times.
refuses, in fact. He says, "It's in my contract. My slutty knee mace must make an appearance."
That would be actually hilarious if that were true. Another big wide shot, Jackson, showing how
Jackson.
it's been like kind of looks like it's grown a hell of a lot as well. If we go back just a smidge, like we've got a big what looks like a churchyard. We've got like smoke trails way off into the distance. This looks much bigger than what it was when we last saw it.
Mhm.
Uh Shows that it's thriving. And we get the extent of Jackson here in this little map that Joel seems to be pointing to that shows the boundary. What's inside? People. What's outside? Monsters.
Mhm.
Boy, don't you know the half of it, kid. But again, we see that Joel seems to be taking some sort of prominent role. What with the watches, with the the covers, like you see out back, like the patrol routes. You see like the Alpine, the Creek, like all these different locations. So he's certainly got a big hand in things. A lovely little detail that I want to do as headcanon is that Tommy and Marie as a kid is wearing a dinosaur hoodie, which if they show Joel grabbing that from the museum, it's just gonna be another nice touch of like Joel just being quite thoughtful later
Mhm.
in life and things. And also like being a good uncle. Looks like he
Yeah,
really is a good uncle at this point. Oh, they know how to really get us, don't they? Because they're
they
making it
do.
so that Joel is really happy. And yeah, he's not going to be after this.
No.
You get the Joel residence, the Miller residence, big place just for Joel.
Pretty great, yeah. These yeah. I wish he got
there
to
was
live
a
there longer.
there was a bit of speculation when Catherine O'Hara was first cast, before we knew that she was going to be Gail, assuming a therapist, is that there were a lot of people. I say a lot of people, me, who wondered whether or not it might be Joel's girlfriend, perhaps, or something.
Hmm.
We could have lived in that world.
I don't wanna live in that
Maybe
world. I don't know. Not that I don't
I
want Joel
think
to be happy,
power
but,
couple
like
Pedro Pascal and Catherine
oh,
O'Hara.
I mean, in real life, yeah, get it all day.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I don't know that we needed Joel to have like, wait, do we need another person grieving over the loss of Joel? Like, I don't think so. We're already
True.
sad
Yeah.
enough. We don't need to have our hearts ripped out even more.
No, we don't. Speaking of which, we get the nice guitar gifting scene, which looks beautifully
Yay.
shot as always. Flows into barn dance again, and a really faithful shot of that. As we kind of like pan in and see everyone dancing. Dina, who just looks so great. I don't know. I've got such faith in how Dina is being portrayed in these trailers. Like, just it seems to capture the kind of joy that Dina has,
Mhm.
with what like kind of, and then Ellie suitably being awkward. So I hope this works out. Stalker once more, the sickle. Oh, the shot of it, which is not Abby.
No, that
Yeah, it's
isn't
not, but it is
Abby.
someone stood on the bucket, so maybe we're
So
seeing
maybe
this
it's
from a
I
distance.
was just gonna say, so we're not gonna see Abby, we'll just get an example of what they
Possibly,
do. That
yeah.
makes more
Maybe
sense.
maybe they might be combining the vibes of that scene with Ellie's first encounter with
Well,
them, maybe watching from a distance.
good luck to that guy against Bertha with that
Yeah.
pickaxe thing, because that was a rough fight. Just
I
saying.
mean, Isaac knows how to deal with them. Isaac's bringing in the big forces, tanks and all sorts.
Yep. Look at that
I
branding.
I love that someone has taken time to paint the helmets
Yeah.
like this, like dedication, right?
Kids arts and crafts time. Everyone take a
Exactly.
helmet for your militia
Oh, it could
family.
very well be like, oh, that could be rough.
Yeah.
Then we get the Salt Lake crew walking through the snow. We get the horde. All of them seem to be climbing or like digging themselves up. Like maybe an avalanche has happened.
Yeah. Huh.
Possibly could be quite interesting if that has. Maybe that's a defense that they try against them of just
Oh, yeah.
forcibly
Yep.
avalanching everything.
It's one way to do it.
Yeah. And then we get the action
Oh,
going on. This looks intense. That
explosions.
HBO budget being
Yes,
well spent
baby.
on big things going boom. This looks rough. And again, I like the fact that they're running, but then they're like clamoring still, even after like going down, which again is like total like infected behavior.
Yes.
Tommy sniping. I'm hopeful that he's good, but we don't know. We don't know just yet.
No.
We get the approach to Seattle. Ellie and Dina,
Yay. Oh,
Seraphites
look at
walking
that.
through. Now, didn't need this, guys. I did
No.
not need a little baby Seraphite with a hammer.
A little baby hammer and little baby scars on her little baby
Oh,
face.
it's brutal to think about, like the scars. Like,
Yeah.
oh, yikes. So at least maybe we're getting the presentation of how brutal the Seraphites are, hopefully, without actually seeing anything like that. But we get them hunting through the forest in the dark, running
Mhm.
towards probably the sound of more whistles or something.
That
Dina
looks like
exploring
Dina,
a
yeah.
hallway, which could be interesting. And then we get Jesse and Ellie. We're
Yeah.
definitely getting post Hillcrest, them kind of exploring. This is certainly them where they probably depart at this point, where they have the disagreement. And Ellie's like, no, 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 aquarium. Jesse's like, the docks is where we heard Tommy. So where are you going?
Yes.
So yeah, which is going to lead to a bit of complication.
Yay!
Hero kiss is happening.
Yay!
This should be
Now kiss.
yeah. That looks
Yay!
Subway. That does that kiss. But yeah, followed
Oh, okay.
but we have to, yeah. You've already cheered it. It's amazing,
The
right?
space, I don't
This looks so good. Looks
look at the
so good.
trees, look at the greenery. It's so good. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I know we're speculating that it's going to be late in the season, so we're going to have a long time to wait, but I can't wait.
Mhm. Then we get the partially done tattoo, but the chemical burn is there. You cannot
Mhm.
see teeth marks or bite marks. I don't know. I think those. I still part of me thinks that those cutscenes with Ellie in the gauze top and like the screaming, maybe it could be related to this, but yeah, maybe
I
we're
don't
just
think
not
so.
gonna
There's
see
just
it.
like so much emotion which you wouldn't have for just physical pain.
Hmm.
At least not Ellie. Like maybe me. If you did a chemical burn on me, I'd make that face. But Ellie, as we've said, is activated by violence. So I just don't think that would be her reaction.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Then we get Ellie running through a hallway, just fired like a
Yeah.
badass. A lot of
Yeah.
people were really skeptical as to whether or not Bella could play action. Well,
Get
point
bent.
proven. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
okay. Or you could say it that way.
We get the interrogation once more, and then we
Mhm.
get the confirmation we are getting spores. This shot is beautiful. Um, what on
Yeah.
earth? These are going to be like, look at the light, the way it captures them.
Aha!
Not
Look.
entirely sold about the whole plume coming out of the mouth. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I don't know what
very.
that's about. I don't know. We've seen them do right, like we've seen them do like the spores crawling out of the mouth.
Hmm.
So maybe that's something similar where it's just like the like dusty spores coming out. I don't know.
Yeah. But
But
we're
they like to
getting
do gross stuff.
spores. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it looks like they are being teased beforehand. Ellie kind of seeing this. Maybe this is in the hospital beforehand, and maybe this is where she gets the idea of where to take Nora.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like she is. She looks a little surprised, but there's no Dina, so it's not going to be that revelation at least. Then,
Yeah.
so maybe this comes afterwards. I don't know. We get
I'm gonna go
Abby
shopping.
fleeing from the horde. Um, it was Abby, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's Abby.
then we get Eugene,
Eugene.
Joey Pants,
Yeah, played by character actor Joey Pants.
who seems to have Joel lingering behind him.
Yeah, it's very look at the flowers from Mice and Men of Mice and Men, you
Hmm.
know? Yeah, look at him
Yeah.
taking aim at Eugene. What about the
Yeah.
weed, Joel? Think about the
Yeah.
poor people. They need their weed.
M- Maybe Joel is channeling his Boston era and is like, there's only one dealer in this city. He just becomes a drugs baron. Who
Uh,
knows?
that's
Oh,
hilarious. He's
gosh.
Breaking Bad for realsies.
Yeah. Subway
Subway.
Horde. That looked like the opening attack. This is probably Ellie on her
Oh,
own
that's that same
against.
yeah, we saw the things coming off. Yeah.
Hmm. Joel caught in the cold. Like even his like facial hair is catching the frost.
It's
Which
giving
is
a Home Alone character, what's his face when he gets like frozen or like it's giving
Marv.
yeah, yes, Marv. Yeah, yeah. It's giving Marv.
That's hilarious. So funny. Nora, and then yeah, like we suspected when the trailer was first released, you see some spores floating in the air of this shot this time, which lends you to
Yes,
say that
baby.
a lot of the stuff that we've seen already, it certainly can be pre-CG. So there might be some secrets getting thrown in. It's not unlike production companies now to like edit trailers to hide certain things as well,
Yup.
which makes me think that maybe even those the horse riding shots that we saw before, maybe they aren't entirely accurate. Maybe something has been taken out or added to throw
Yeah.
us off our game a little bit. Can they be so eagle-eyed? Someone getting strung up again doesn't look like Abby from what I can
It
see. I think that's
doesn't.
probably the same person in the shot before.
Yeah.
Interesting shot of
Oh.
Dina there, right?
Yeah.
Dina being
happening?
Thrown back
couch?
on a couch in pain.
Huh.
I wonder if
No.
she is with Joel when it happens. I wonder if this is them holding her down.
Oh, maybe.
Because it looks more like distress than pain.
Agree.
at
Like
least there.
shock, distress. Yeah.
Yeah. So that could be something. I don't know.
Yeah.
In which case, I am not looking forward to Dina being the one to see what happens.
No, not at all. Well,
Joel fighting off the horde. Tommy with a badass flamethrower. Come on, Tommy.
get that bloater.
Oh my gosh.
Or it could be a shambler, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, we know that fire is very effective. And then we get a confrontation. It looks like what happens at the hospital happens here. Maybe the truth is revealed in Jackson rather than Salt Lake City, which I think for safety's sake makes more sense. But Bella pulling out the emotions of just you swore and just looking so angry.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so great.
You
Joel just devastated.
Yeah.
Flair comes up. We get titles. Confirmation April 13th. New season, baby. Let's get hype.
Gracious.
Oh, there's so much in them, but also not enough. Like, I need so much more.
It's never enough. Yeah. Never enough for any of us. Oh, I can't wait, though.
I am so looking forward to this season. I think that from everything that we've seen teased thus far, of course, there's so much repetition, and it's only packed into what, like 2 minutes of a trailer, 1 minute of a teaser, 2 minutes of another, and 30 seconds of another, and all the shots have been repeated and stuff as well, which makes me think that we've got at best 3 minutes of actual, 3 maybe 4 minutes of actual footage from what is going to be 7 episodes of about an hour each. There is so much more for us to see and unpack, so I can't wait for it.
I cannot wait.
Oh. So, I think that concludes our deep dive for today. Of course, we're going to be going through the rest of it episode by episode. We're going to try and release them as soon following the episodes air as possible. So stick around. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It helps us out massively, as does anything like reviews or feedback. So if you want to send any feedback in, find us on the socials at lookforlightpod, or you can email in at lookforlightpodcast@gmail.com. Jess, do we have anything else?
I think that's about it. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll do our best to get these out on Monday at some point during the day on Mondays. After we get to watch the episodes on Sunday night. So yeah, I'm really hyped. I cannot wait to talk about this season. I have high hopes for it. I'm really excited to see Dina. I'm really excited for this show to break my heart every episode, and I just simply cannot wait.
Certainly will. So before we end things officially, though, should we end as we always do with a little bit of Will Livingston?
Yes, please.
So, why did Craig Mazin take his trailer to the mechanics?
Why?
Because it had too many spoilers.
No.
Probably the dumbest one, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye-bye.